Dillon Gabriel didn't just lose the game, he lost the room. And no one even had to say it until Mary Kay Cabot did. One carefully chosen phrase from the Browns' most trusted insider, he couldn't finish the job. And suddenly, the Cleveland quarterback conversation exploded into something far bigger than performance stats. Gabriel's debut wasn't just underwhelming. It was the kind of start that sends franchises spiraling.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
No rhythm, no urgency. And when the game was on the line, nothing but checkdowns and missed reads. It didn't take long for fans to notice. Or players. And when Cabot publicly hinted at the organization's doubts, she validated the tension that had already been building behind closed doors. Now the spotlights shifted violently onto Shedeur Sanders. The fan base is no longer asking for a change, they're demanding it. Social media is plastered with comparisons. Sanders' college highlight reels next to Gabriel's nervous footwork. Hashtags, clips, opinion threads. Every post is a referendum on the Browns' leadership. And right now, public opinion has made its choice. The locker room, meanwhile, is reportedly starting to fracture. Whispers about Stefanski's loyalty to Gabriel. Frustration from veterans who feel the coaching staff is ignoring the obvious. And with Cabot breaking the seal on criticism, it's clear that the Browns' problems go beyond just a shaky QB. This is about trust between coaches, players, and the fan base. And once that's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. Sanders hasn't played it down, but he's already become the symbol of hope, mostly because he hasn't done anything wrong. His quiet confidence has only made Gabriel look more rattled, and with a team unraveling around them, that contrast is impossible to ignore. Stefanski is now caught in a trap of his own making, refusing to pivot while the walls are closing in. Cabot didn't start a rumor. She voiced a reality the Browns weren't ready to admit. And now, the team isn't just facing quarterback pressure. It's fighting to hold onto its credibility. The Cleveland Browns are unraveling. And it's not happening in secret. It's playing out in full view, with fans, analysts, and even players questioning who's really in control of this team. One game. One underwhelming, conservative, anxiety-soaked performance by Dillon Gabriel. And the lid flew off. It wasn't just that he struggled. It's that his struggles expose something deeper, something systemic. The Browns are not just dealing with a quarterback problem. They're dealing with a leadership crisis. Let's start with the obvious. Dillon Gabriel's debut against the Vikings was a mess. The hesitancy, the cautious decision-making, the total lack of rhythm. It all screamed one thing: not ready. And when the final drive came around, the moment that could have given him a lifeline, he folded. The offense stalled, fans groaned, and the questions started flying. That performance didn't just shake confidence in Gabriel. It shook confidence in the people who picked him. Then Mary Kay Cabot entered the chat. She didn't throw a grenade. She didn't go on a rant. She just said it plainly. Gabriel couldn't finish the job. Those 5 words were enough. They lit a fuse that had already been smoldering. Because coming from Cabot, a reporter who's been inside this organization's orbit for years, it didn't feel like a critique. It felt like a signal. And fans took it as one. Loud and clear. Within hours, social media was in full revolt. Hashtags like #StartShedeur and #BenchGabriel flooded timelines. People weren't just mad at Gabriel. They were done with him. Clips started circulating of Shedeur Sanders' college highlights. The contrast was brutal. Gabriel looked like a QB hoping not to make a mistake. Sanders looked like a leader. This wasn't just frustration. It was a movement. And just like that, the conversation shifted. It was no longer about whether Gabriel could improve. It was about why Shedeur Sanders wasn't starting already. The fans were done waiting. The patience was gone. Now here's where it gets messy. Because this outcry didn't stay online. It leaked into the building. According to reports, some veteran players have started quietly questioning the coaching staff. Not shouting. Not throwing tantrums. Just subtle doubts. Is Gabriel really the guy? Why does it feel like the coaching staff is more loyal to their plan than to the locker room? That kind of doubt is dangerous. It eats at team chemistry. It drains morale. And in the NFL, it spreads fast. When a quarterback loses the locker room, it's over. Even if the coach doesn't say it. Even if the front office doesn't admit it. The moment teammates stop believing in the guy under center, the entire operation starts to fracture. And right now, the fractures are showing. What makes it worse is that Shedeur Sanders isn't even campaigning for the job. He's not talking. He's not stirring the pot. He's just there, calm, focused, waiting. That silence? It's loud. It's resonating with fans who want leadership, with players who want direction. While Gabriel fumbles the spotlight, Sanders stands in the shadows like a symbol of everything the team could be. The poised leader, the unshaken option, the hope. He hasn't taken a single snap. And yet, somehow, he's already the most trusted quarterback in Cleveland. This entire situation is becoming less about who's technically more prepared and more about who inspires belief. Gabriel walked off the field with doubt following him like a shadow. Sanders hasn't even stepped on, and fans already see him as the future. And yet, Kevin Stefanski is sticking with Gabriel. That decision is now the center of the storm. Because sticking with Gabriel doesn't just look like trust. It looks like denial. The locker room knows what they saw. The fans know what they saw. Even the media knows what they saw. And when a coach refuses to acknowledge that, it stops being about football and starts being about ego. This is the moment where leadership either adapts or collapses. Stefanski's choice to ride this out with Gabriel is being seen less as strategic and more as stubborn. And it's not just about one quarterback anymore. It's about whether the Browns' leadership is capable of course-correcting when the situation demands it. Because right now, the fans aren't just pushing for Shedeur Sanders. They're demanding accountability. They're demanding action. And Stefanski's refusal to shift is starting to look like a guy prioritizing his system over his team. That's where trust dies. The Browns are staring down a decision that could define their season. Stick with Gabriel, and you risk more losses, more backlash, and a complete collapse of morale. Start Sanders, and you reset the narrative. You give the fans hope. You give the locker room a spark. You change the story. But every day they wait, that window closes. The longer Gabriel stays in, the worse it gets. The less the team believes. The less the city believes. And the more pressure stacks on Shedeur Sanders, who's already carrying expectations he didn't ask for. This is what happens when a franchise loses control of the narrative. A quarterback struggles. A respected insider drops a hint. The fans erupt. The locker room questions. And leadership does nothing. You can't be passive in a storm like this. You either own the chaos or you get swallowed by it. And right now, the Browns are sinking. Slowly, predictably, publicly. Let's talk about what's really at stake here. If Stefanski continues to back Gabriel and it fails, which, let's be honest, it already is, his credibility is shot. He'll lose the fan base. He'll lose the locker room. He'll lose control. This isn't just about wins and losses. It's about the perception of leadership. In the NFL, perception is reality. If your players don't believe in your decisions, they stop listening. If the media stops believing in your strategy, the pressure never lets up. And if the fans stop believing in your team, you lose more than games. You lose identity. And that's what's on the line here. The Browns' identity. Are they a team that adapts? Or a team that doubles down on mistakes? Are they driven by ego or results? Do they value performance or loyalty to the plan? Because right now, it looks like they're choosing the plan over everything else. Over the game, over the team, over the truth. And that truth is simple. Dillon Gabriel wasn't ready. The team knows it. The fans know it. The media knows it. The only people pretending it's fine are the ones making the decisions. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders continues to gain momentum without saying a word. His composure, his silence, his sheer presence, it's becoming symbolic. Fans aren't just asking for him to play. They're asking for a reset, for clarity, for change. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback now. He's become the idea of what could be. of how this franchise can save itself from another cycle of indecision and disappointment. The Browns are running out of time. Every moment they delay the switch, they lose another bit of trust, another inch of locker room unity, another sliver of belief from a fan base that's been down this road too many times. Gabriel didn't just have a bad debut, he triggered a crisis. And if the Browns' leadership doesn't respond with urgency, that crisis is going to define their season. There's still time to change the story, but not much. The Browns need to stop pretending this is fine. They need to stop managing optics and start managing outcomes. And that starts by giving the team, the fans, and the city what they're asking for, a new direction and a new QB. So what do you think? Should Stefanski finally make the move, or has the damage already been done? Is Shedeur Sanders the answer, or just another chapter in Cleveland's never-ending quarterback carousel? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're as invested in this football soap opera as we are, make sure to subscribe. Because the Browns are giving us drama, and we're going to be here every step of the way. This isn't just a quarterback controversy anymore. This is a full-blown organizational unraveling in real time. The kind of moment that forces everyone, from the top brass to the last guy on the bench, to decide what kind of team they want to be a part of. And right now, the Browns look like a team stuck in denial while the walls close in. Let's not overcomplicate this. Dillon Gabriel had a shot. He got the starting nod. He had an opportunity to calm the noise, show leadership, and prove he was worth the investment. Instead, he gave fans and teammates every reason to panic. The hesitation, the lack of command, the short, timid throws, and most damning of all, the complete meltdown on the final drive. That wasn't a fluke. That wasn't working through growing pains. That was a red flag the size of First Energy Stadium. It was a performance that screamed, "This guy isn't ready." And everyone saw it. Then Mary Kay Cabot added gasoline to the fire. Not with a rant. Not with a hot take. Just a quiet, perfectly timed comment. Gabriel couldn't finish the job. That's it. That's all she said. And that was all it took. Because when someone with her reputation makes a remark like that, it means the building is already buzzing. It means the doubt isn't just external, it's internal. And once that door opens, you can't close it. The fans jumped immediately. Social media became a digital war room. People were done waiting. They wanted Shedeur Sanders, and they wanted him now. The hashtags were everywhere. The memes were brutal. The side-by-side comparisons between Gabriel's in-game hesitancy and Sanders' college highlight reels were merciless. It wasn't just a call for change. It was a referendum on the Browns' entire decision-making process. And the worst part? The more you watch this unfold, the clearer it becomes. This isn't about one player anymore. It's about the Browns' inability to adjust in real time. It's about a coaching staff more committed to their initial plan than the evidence right in front of them. It's about leadership paralysis. You've got Kevin Stefanski walking into pressers talking about staying the course, while his locker room starts asking the quiet questions out loud. Players, not rookies, veterans, are reportedly starting to question the loyalty to Gabriel. Not just his performance, but the coaching staff's unwillingness to admit something isn't working. That kind of internal friction doesn't stay under control for long. It's one thing for fans to riot online, but when the locker room starts to feel the disconnect between performance and accountability, that's when teams fall apart from the inside. The Browns aren't just at a crossroads, they're stuck in the middle of the intersection, refusing to pick a direction while the traffic piles up. And all the while, Shedeur Sanders stand there, quiet, focused, professional. It's almost surreal. He hasn't made a single comment. He hasn't posted cryptic tweets. He's just going about his business, while the entire franchise starts treating him like the last lifeboat on a sinking ship. His calm is unnerving, because that's exactly what Gabriel didn't show. And every time Sanders is spotted calmly reviewing plays or supporting teammates from the sidelines, it reinforces one simple idea. He looks like a leader. Even without playing, he's commanding respect. That's not hype. That's presence. The Browns fan base knows it. The locker room senses it. And yet, somehow, the coaching staff remains frozen, paralyzed by a loyalty to a plan that clearly isn't working. And let's be real, that silence from leadership is deafening. They're not addressing the fan uprising. They're not acknowledging the locker room murmurs. They're not explaining why Sanders is being kept on ice, while Gabriel continues to fumble through game time. What they're doing is hoping it just goes away. Spoiler alert, it won't. If anything, it's snowballing. Every practice Gabriel runs with the starters now feels like an insult to the team's intelligence. Every delay in giving Sanders a shot feels like a refusal to learn from past mistakes. And for Cleveland fans, that's familiar pain. They've seen this script before. The missed signals, the loyalty to underperformers, the slow, agonizing unraveling of a promising season before it ever really starts. It's exhausting, and it's infuriating. What should have been a wake-up call has turned into a case study in how not to handle a quarterback controversy. This isn't development. This isn't patience. This is denial masquerading as strategy. The franchise had an out. They had a chance to say, "We saw what happened. We heard the noise. We're making a change." They didn't even have to throw Gabriel under the bus. They could have framed it as evaluation, as rotation, as giving Sanders a shot to compete. But they didn't. They doubled down. Again. Now the stakes are higher. Now, it's not just about which quarterback plays. It's about whether this organization can lead. Because this moment is defining more than just the depth chart. It's defining culture. Are the Browns a team that listens? That adapts? That values performance over ego? Or are they still the franchise that clings to broken ideas because admitting error is scarier than another loss? Right now, they're trending toward the latter. And the real tragedy? It doesn't have to be this way. Shedeur Sanders hasn't made this messy. He's been a model of professionalism. He hasn't tried to take the job through drama. He's waited quietly as the fans, and increasingly the team, start to call his name louder. He is, at this point, the cleanest solution to an increasingly dirty problem. Start him. See what happens. Give him the chance to justify the hype or not. But do something. The longer the Browns sit on their hands, the more this spirals. The more fans disengage. The more locker room trust erodes. The more every loss becomes a referendum on leadership, not just execution. The question isn't, is Sanders ready anymore? The question is, what are you so afraid of finding out? Because if he fails, fine. At least you know. At least you tried. But if he succeeds, then everything changes. The momentum, the energy, the hope. And right now, hope is a rare commodity in Cleveland. The Browns can't afford another week of indecision. The longer they stick with a plan that's clearly not working, the harder it'll be to recover. This isn't about giving up on Gabriel. This is about choosing the guy who gives your team the best chance to win. And right now, that's Shedeur Sanders. Not because he's guaranteed to succeed, but because everything else is already falling apart. You can feel it. The tension, the frustration, the disbelief. It's not just a quarterback issue anymore. It's a credibility crisis. So here's the reality. You either pivot or you perish. You either listen to your team, your fans, and your gut, or you drown in the noise you refuse to hear. The Browns don't need another meeting. They don't need another week of evaluation. They need action. They need a spark. And that spark is sitting on the sideline, helmet in hand, waiting for a chance. The worst part about this whole thing? It didn't have to spiral like this. This isn't a team stuck without options. This isn't a roster scrambling for talent. The Browns have Shedeur Sanders right there, ready, willing, and apparently more than capable. And yet, week after week, they continue to double down on a quarterback who's lost the faith of the fans, and, let's be honest, probably the locker room too. It's not even about Gabriel being a bad quarterback. That's not what people are saying. It's about him being the wrong quarterback right now. There's a difference. He might still have a future in the league. He might be a solid long-term project. But when a team is already unraveling, When veteran players are throwing side eyes at coaching decisions, and the fans are burning down Twitter with every checkdown throw he makes. You don't get the luxury of waiting around for development. And it's a refusal to acknowledge that disconnect that's got everyone fed up. Every time Kevin Stefanski steps to the mic and delivers another variation of "We Believe in Dylan," it lands flatter than the Browns' offensive production. The fans aren't buying it. The media's not buying it. And the players, if the whispers are true, aren't buying it either. Because they've seen what Shedeur can do. They've watched him work. They've watched the poise, the control, the presence. And they've watched the support for him grow from a few hopeful fans to a full-blown movement. And yet, the Browns still act like they're shocked by the backlash. Like they didn't see this coming. Let's be clear, this isn't about pressure from outside. This is about the obvious becoming unavoidable. When one guy looks overwhelmed and the other looks ready, it doesn't take a genius to figure out where this is going. So why not just get there already? Because every week they wait, the stakes get worse. Gabriel takes the field, already under fire. Every mistake is amplified. Every missed throw is a trigger. The team doesn't just lose games, they lose patience. And the longer Stefanski waits to make the switch, the more it starts to feel like he's protecting his own ego instead of doing what's best for the team. That's the core issue here. Leadership. Not just from the quarterback, but from the guys pulling the strings behind the scenes. And right now, that leadership looks frozen, indecisive, out of sync with the very team they're supposed to be guiding. The locker room knows it. You can't hide dysfunction from players. They feel it in walkthroughs, in film sessions, in the way reps are divided, in who gets protected and who gets ignored. They see Shedeur preparing every day like it's his team. They see him showing up, staying focused, staying locked in. And they see a guy who should be starting, but isn't. That creates tension. That creates divide. And let's not pretend like this is a normal rookie QB situation either. This isn't a case of easing someone in. Sanders has pedigree. He has tape. He has the tools. He has the support. He's not some unproven backup waiting for a mercy drive in a blowout. He's the guy people are ready to rally behind. What's stopping the Browns from pulling the trigger? At this point, it feels like fear. Fear of admitting a mistake. Fear of disrupting the plan. Fear of what happens if Sanders gets the nod and doesn't deliver immediately. But guess what? That fear is already here. The chaos has already arrived. The worst-case scenario they're trying to avoid? It's happening now, just without the upside of trying something new. Sticking with the status quo isn't playing it safe anymore. It's making it worse. Fans aren't dumb. They know when something's broken. And when Mary Kay Cabot, someone with sources inside the building, drops a one-liner that basically confirms what the whole city's been screaming, that's not analysis. That's confirmation. The only people who seem unsure about this move are the ones who have the power to make it. And that's the most frustrating part. So here we are, a team in limbo. A locker room starting to fracture. A fan base on the verge of mutiny. And a quarterback, calm, collected, and quietly waiting, while the people in charge pretend the building isn't already on fire. The Browns don't just need to start Shedeur Sanders because of potential. They need to start him because everything else is already falling apart. And if they wait any longer, they won't just lose games. They'll lose the one guy who might have actually been able to save the season. What do you think? Are the Browns just afraid of change, or are they clinging to a version of reality that doesn't exist anymore? Let us know in the comments. And if you're here for the meltdowns, the misfires, and the weekly dose of NFL drama, we've got you covered. Subscribe, and we'll see you at the next crisis. Because let's be honest, it's never far away.